We're the Ogles. What? We're the Ogles.
Danielle Ogle.
Serious? Hey. Jason Ogle. Dad. Father. Husband. Son.
We laugh a lot.
Yeah.
And we make each other laugh a lot. And we love to make other people laugh. When I first met... Nope, just kidding. Retake.
Your potatoes.
Nope. Inappropriate.
What? The potatoes? When I met Danielle, she was like... She's very quirky. A big thing that like I was into was like going to like shows, like concerts, like, but they weren't concerts, they were like smaller shows. She outnumbered me in shows. Hardcore, because she was hardcore. It seemed like she genuinely enjoyed life. I saw her and I'm like, she's pretty good looking. I don't know. I just liked what I saw.
I liked what I saw.
You, get over here. I was always really attracted to like Danielle's family dynamic, like what she had with her parents. Walking into her family, you know they had their issues, but it was the most stable I've ever seen a family like function. And you knew there was like love there, and you knew there was respect and everything. I was always really attracted to that part. Like I knew that she would make a good mom and a good wife, because I saw that was acted out in everyday life in front of her. So I knew that I was attracted to that.
When I first met Jason, he was very cocky and very full of himself, but very, very confident and hilarious. I loved it because he was always the life of the party. He was always making people laugh. He was always drawing people to himself. Like, people wanted to be where Jason was because he was hilarious. We started dating in high school, and when we were in high school, I had to get my wisdom teeth removed. I don't know if any of you have gotten your wisdom teeth removed, but it involves a lot of gauze, and there's blood. Don't look. And this guy came over to my house and pretty much stayed with me anytime he wasn't at school or work or whatever we had going on, and like changed out my gauze and helped me get medicines while I was out of it. And I was like, man, this guy must be committed. There's blood and gauze. He didn't need to look at that. But he was all in, and he loved doing it. He loved me, and I loved him. What's the moment you knew it was love?
I took Danielle to Dallas to go to Bible college, and I didn't have intentions on staying in Dallas. She made it very clear that she wasn't going to do a long-term relationship. And long term.
We're 8 years in, but this is not long term, guys.
She made it clear that she didn't want to do a long distance relationship, but I found myself in Dallas, dropping her off, wanting to be with her like up into the last second. She dropped me off at a bus station, a Greyhound bus station, because I was so poor I had to buy a bus ticket. I couldn't afford a plane ticket, so I had to buy a bus ticket. And I found myself crying. You got homeless people and crazy people, and you're kind of feared for your life, but everyone stayed away from me because I was a grown man sobbing on a Greyhound bus. Yeah, that's probably when I knew like I was really in love with this girl. She dropped me off, and I'm all the way like 20-hour bus ride home, and I'm like sobbing and crying.
We've been married 8 years. We've been married 8 years. Our love has grown so much. I mean, we've literally known each other. We started dating when we were 16 years old. So a person does a lot of growing between 16 and 30 by themselves, let alone when you start a relationship when you're 16. I mean, gosh, we were youngins, we were kids, we didn't know what we wanted. We didn't know anything. We didn't know a teeny tiny word. But so not only have we had to grow up, from being a 16-year-old to being adults and having kids and stuff, but you have to grow together because our relationship started when we were young and we didn't know what we wanted, and now we've developed together so much, it's come a long way. and it's amazing.
We personally have like fought for our marriage. Like there was definitely times like that it should have been done. Like there was just times where it was just like, you know, she could have walked away and it would have been like justifiable. Like, and even in my mind at the time, I'd have been like, I wouldn't have been surprised. Like, it would have been like, you had every right to, you know? And I see our relationship as something like that we fought for, and it's like, it's precious.
Jason now is a hard worker. He's a fighter for our family. He loves our kids, and it's amazing to see the man that he's made him.
If I was to describe Danielle, like, I would say like her heart has changed in the sense that she can love more, she can care more. I've just seen Jesus do things like with her emotions. All the good things about her that I knew about her have only been amplified by what Jesus has done with her.
Here's a great piece of advice for a growing family. Have a support system around you. Have people around you that you can count on, that you can trust on, to love on your kids the way that you would, to discipline your kids the way that you would, and give them the freedom to do so. People you know that you trust well enough, family or friends or whoever. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Dare to be honest with your wife. I was always amazed at the fact that the grace that I was looking for, the mercy that I was looking for, I would receive that mercy and that grace. I'd begin to understand Jesus' heart on certain topics because of how my wife responded to what I was telling her. And there's a specific time where I came to her and I was just honest. I said, I'm struggling in this area. And it was tearing me up. It was just tearing me up. I felt like a horrible father, felt like a bad husband. I didn't feel like a man. And in that situation, I was desperately needing grace and mercy, and I was needing a word from God. I was needing a word from the Lord. And my wife looked at me in the face and said that the last word that I would ever expect to hear, and she had said, Jason, you're an honorable man. And if that didn't shake me to the core, if that didn't like mold the kind of man that I am now, dare to be honest with your spouse about issues.
For anybody out there who's raising young ones, I would just encourage you to know that you're not alone. No matter what situation you're in, whether you're a mom that stays at home or a mom that works or a dad that, you know, is working or has his own business or whatever situation it is, it's so easy to isolate yourself and say, I'm the only one that's dealing with this. I'm the only one. Nobody else has to go through what I'm going through. And that is never the case. Find somebody you can confide in, somebody you can talk to, and not just to vent, not just to get it off your chest or gossip or whatever, but somebody who's going to lead you to Jesus, because ultimately it's going to be chaos without him. It will continuously and constantly be chaos without Jesus in the midst of everything.
There's a thought that may run through your head and you would say to yourself, I'm not a good parent. And I would encourage you and say that if you know you are loved by Jesus, if you know that you're a child of God, you are a good parent. That at any moment you are capable of loving your children the way God has loved you. Oh, Ben. Oh, Ben. All right, we're out.
Do you need your land landscaped?
Lawn landscaped. All right, we're not doing that. This is not a plug.
He like rips open his shirt. It's like restoration lawn and landscape. Massamore. Lasagna.
Di corazon.
Menacari. Cheers. Cheerio.
Could you give us some advice?
I think we're the Stocktons.
I think we need advice more than anybody else. Cereal, multi-meal, peanut butter cups. That's cereal, right?
I love cereal. Sorry, I'm crying. Hold on. So funny. Okay.
Gosh, don't embarrass me on camera.
When Jason and I first met, he had this long hair to his shoulders. It was gross and disgusting, and I hated it.
I have long hair now to my shoulders. Like,
hold on. When Jason and I first met, he had this long hair down to his shoulders. It was gross and disgusting, and it was not attractive. And then the next time I saw him, like a year later, he had cut all his hair, and I was like, hey, that guy's good looking, right?
Yeah. Well.
And
If we just have even an image of professionalism, Daniel, that would be great.